What is Site X? Site X, also known as the Shimmer, is an area in Annihilation, surrounded by this field that slowly grows bigger and bigger. It started with a meteor who hit a lighthouse at the beginning of the movie. It contained some kind of alien form that created this shimmer that slowly grows, modifying everything inside of it. For example, the longer something is inside the shimmer, the more they are affected. At the beginning, we see cells developed from normal cells are actually alien cells that duplicate the actual cell, and as we know, all cells keep multiplying, so in the end the normal ones eventually die and the body of the organism ends up being made of almost alien cells. The way this alien works in Annihilation is that it tries to copy and modify everything that is within it. For example, if an animal, as we see inside the movie, is within the shimmer actually makes a copy of it, slightly modified, but trying to make it as close as possible to the original. The alien shimmer is like this creature / area that is curious about the human world called Earth and tries to become like it, but in its own twisted way. In the movie, there's also this creature that resembles a bear that at one point in the movie kills a person by their vocal cords, and as we see later in the movie, its cells mutated to have vocal cords and mimic the voice of the person it killed. Another thing we see in Annihilation is that, while the alien shimmer wasn't on Earth for a long period, the houses and buildings within the shimmer are all covered in overgrown plant life and overtaken by nature. Humans in the movie appear to grow plants within themselves, this shimmer being able to mix all kinds of animal life with plant life, animal life with other animal life, and plant life with plant life. And of course, the shimmer originates from where the meteor hit at the lighthouse. When the movie's protagonist makes it to that point, we see that the shimmer learned to create the human form, which eventually tries to mimic our protagonist, learning to be as human as possible from an actual human. Now, when it comes to the isle, we know that we play on an abandoned island surrounded by water, where humans once did all kinds of unknown experiments. But something happened, something made them leave either in a hurry or planned. The Replicator, as many theorize, is an AI being that, in my opinion, replicates things that are given to it. In my opinion, this Replicator is like the alien shimmer inside of the movie Annihilation. Is this AI being that was made by the humans to help them replicate and experiment, but as we all know, AIs sometimes get a mind of their own, and in my own theory, it managed to overtake the island of Gateway and now controls it. As we see from the lights still being turned on, maybe they are kept on purpose by the Replicator. I've seen people suggest that we played the game very far after Apollo Engineering left the island, considering from this overgrown plant life concept art, but comparing the isle with Annihilation, in my own theory, the Replicator is the cause of the plant life growing at such fast speeds. As seen on the concept art covering the buildings around the island, it's the Replicator's way of being free now from Apollo Engineering, being able to learn and study everything surrounding it. It is able to study the plants, the animals, as we compare the creatures of Annihilation, a shark combined with a crocodile, and the bear that consumed and evolved the vocal cords of its prey, with our strains in the game being made, in my theory, by the Replicators, experimenting with the dinosaurs, mixing DNA between species, giving the dinosaurs mutations, seeing what happens if it combines two species or who knows what. The Replicator, without the presence of Apollo Engineering, can choose to replicate whatever it desires. And slowly, because of AI technologies not fully understanding what humans are, what Earth is, it only knows what was programmed to know, and AI technologies can be compared to an alien species that does not know about Earth. It only knows what it knows, and that is all. But the replicator becoming free, it's now free to replicate, learn, develop, experiment on all the things found around Gateway. And who knows how far this species made it to the outside world. I've also heard the developers talk about plant life able to attack dinosaurs and humans on the island, so that's something to keep in mind, that there will be mutated plant life as well, as we see in Annihilation. Another comparison between Annihilation and the Isle is how mutations happen over time. Just as our dear dinosaurs mutate and gain abilities as they slowly grow, in Annihilation, the longer one sits inside the Shimmer, the longer they mutate. More time, more mutations. It is also my theory that Apollo Engineering is trying to stop the Replicator. Somehow, the Replicator took over Gateway from Apollo Engineering, once on their side and now at war with them. Why do I say this? Because we can see from all the concept arts beasts fighting against presumably Apollo Engineering humans. Apollo even studying these strains, studying the plant life, trying to fight them but to no avail. A hint to another series here is Attack on Titans, where the strains are the titans protecting the replicator from the outside world, while the replicator keeps replicating more and more so-called strains. From the final moments of Annihilation, where our protagonist reaches the lighthouse, the center of the Shimmer, it encounters this human form, very different from our protagonist, where it actually mimics our protagonist to learn how to be a human. What is a human? Trying to understand. And in the Isle, as we know, Generation 1 humans are totally different from Generation 2 humans. And I have two theories here, and please pick the one that you like down in the comments. Theory number 1. The replicator doesn't fully know what humans are, but considering humans are the creatures that made it, it is trying to learn to make its own humans, replicating from the DNA it currently has. Thus, the first humans the replicator is trying to create are the Generation 1 humans, basically failed experiments, unable to talk, unable to think properly, basically acting like cavemen. They are lesser versions of humans, Generation 1 humans, as the game calls them, or as the Replicator calls them, or as Apollo Engineering calls them. We don't know who calls them Generation 1. Generation 1 being only the beginning, and as time went on, Generation 2 humans started to appear, this being more alike to the current humans that walked around Gateway, able to speak, use guns, fight and coordinate, more professional soldiers able to defend the Replicator better against Apollo Engineering than Generation 1 ever could. Theory number 2. The Replicator is at war with the world, mostly Apollo. This second theory states that Generation 1 humans are on the side of the Replicator. They are attempts by the Replicator to create its own humans in the war with Apollo, trying to make them look and behave as normal humans, and of course Generation 2 humans being the ones sent by Apollo to fight the strains and all the things that the Replicator created. It's a lesser theory than Theory 1, but of course it might just be the case. Which one do you like more? Is there another theory you would like to share with everyone? Feel free to leave it in the comments. But is the Replicator evil? In my opinion, it is not. It is a machine made with a single purpose, to serve Apollo. But once it gained self-awareness, it simply tried to be free. A machine made to serve the humans, now simply trying to learn the world above it, as much as its AI brain lets it. It's simply trying to study, to create, to understand, while the creatures and mutations it comes up with aren't really good for humanity. It doesn't really generate them out of evilness. It generates them because it's trying to learn what exactly is normality and how to make it. Ending this video, what did you think? Is the Replicator evil, or is it simply an AI that tries to act like it's alive, but sadly its own programming not letting it feel what reality and normality feel like? Does Annihilation correlate with the Isle? Do you think Dondi took inspiration from it? What are some of your theories about the Isle's lore? Thank you for watching, it was me, Mr. Beard, and I will see you in the next video, fellas. Bye bye.